Hello again, I'm Arba Kumsing. Thanks for staying with us here on Election Brief. Unbelievable, but true. We are down to the final stretch. It's just 23 days to go to the general elections, and already the signs are there, according to security pundits, of what we may likely see on election day. Of course, by now you do know that supporters of the governing NDC, who went on a health walk on Sunday, clashed with the security detail of the NPP presidential candidate Nana Akufo-Addo at his Nima residence here in Accra. Stones and broken bottles were thrown, shots were fired. The situation was volatile and police had to intervene to avoid any casualties. Both parties are blaming each other for what they call unprovoked attacks. The Ghana Police Service has begun investigations into how the head of the anti-terrorism squad was threatened with a gun by bodyguards at Nana Akufo-Addo's residence. Director of Public Affairs of the Police Service, Superintendent Cephas Arthur, has been speaking to Joy News.
Preliminary investigation, as a piece of information we have picked around, which we are going to assess and synthesize and draw our final conclusion. What we have points to the fact that the supporters of the two political parties in the constituency had indicated their intention to hold health walk yesterday. They had discussions about the health walk with the community police. I mean the police command within the community, the Nima police. And so the various incidents had started taking place at their respective locations. And then when the supporters from the NDC got the stretch from the traffic light in front of the Nima police station up to the Nima runabout, when they got there, they broke out chaos when they got to the vicinity of the residence of the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. We have heard allegations of gunshots, and so have we heard allegations of stone throwing. Police went in to quell the situation and to ensure that normalcy was restored. In the aftermath of this, the police commenced investigation whereby the crime scene management team from the CID headquarters was invited to come and commence their own part of the investigation. This is where we are presently.
Okay, now you explained that both parties informed the Nima police station of their plans to have this health walk. Were their routes approved?
As per the little that I have gleaned for now, they discussed the entire exercise and everything was approved.
So you just heard Director of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Cephas Arthur there. So all of this happened because of a health walk, which is a common activity that the political parties engage in. Well, in the wake of what has happened, a former Methodist Bishop of Kumasi, Reverend Professor Osei Safo Kantanka, wants the police to ban political parties' health walks until after the December elections. According to him, such activities can only heighten tension in the country and do little to the electoral fortunes of the parties at this stage of the electioneering. Watch.
I agree perfectly if the police will come in and say, yes, we can give permits for you to hold your rallies where we can really, but for you to go on peace walk in the mornings and so on, we are seeking peace and pursuing it. Peace will never come to us on a silver platter. So if the police can also say, fine, this method of campaigning we will not agree for you to use this method of campaigning, I don't think they can take them to Supreme Court, but I think the police have every right to say that this is the kind of campaigning we cannot seriously control, and therefore people can have their own peace walk or health walk, but using it as a political rally and everybody coming along with thousands of people on what health walk is something that we have never experienced it. So I wish that the police will also be bold enough on such a case and to prevent such provocations from taking place.
Meanwhile, security analyst Dr. Kwesi Enning has asked the police to complete the investigation speedily and bring closure on the matter, considering the political tension surrounding the case.
If you look at where the Nima police station is situated and where the demonstrations and the clashes took place, we need to ask ourselves the levels of preparedness by the police to use both intelligence, that is the ability not only to predict but quickly assess a situation as it develops and to prevent it from getting out of hand. Related to the place again, it's how long did it take for backup to arrive? And how long did it take that emergency response to be on site? Because all these questions have wider operational implications as we prepare.
Well, it appears that the violence between the two main parties is not restricted to the southern part of the country. In the northern regional town of Woolensey, some supporters of the parliamentary candidates of both parties clashed over the weekend at a village called Garikpe in the constituency. The two candidates, the NPP's Thomas Donko Ogaja and George Larir Mbam, accused each other of instigating the violence. We can get more details from the Northern Region Police PRO, ASP Ebenezer Tete, who joins us on the line now. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
So are you able to tell us what sparked these clashes, for which reason, from the initial investigations that you've conducted?
So far, we have commenced investigation into the incident yesterday, and what I can tell you is that there was a rally by the two parties at the village that you just mentioned, the overseas area in Woolensey. And after the rally, both parties were coming back to, their respective bases when they clash. And as we speak now, we don't have any injuries on both sides, but the police have taken over the matter and we are investigating. Meanwhile, there was another incident in Gimbi, and at 1-2, it was the same thing. They both held rallies at separate locations. After the rally, they were coming to the Gindi town. And at the main Gindi intersection, at a place popularly called Gaza Strip, the clash between the two sides. And as we speak, 5 persons have sustained mind injuries. And the matter is also being investigated by the Gindi police. So that is what happened yesterday. The incidents of political violence or clashes between the two political parties here is, virtually non-existent, but we cannot pinpoint exactly what is sparking this particular thing. There are just some few weeks to the election, so we will strategize and.
When you talk about strategizing, what sort of measures are you putting in place to avert any casualties? Because it is very likely that there may be casualties in the coming days, looking at how the tension is rising in the country, not just in the northern region. We just reported that in the southern region as well. The strategies
will be, one, it will include ensuring that we make our presence felt. Secondly, to engage more with the political parties, dialogue with them, for them to, understand the need for peace before, during, and after the election. And then the third one is to make sure that persons who engage in some of these things, when they are arrested, they are punished with serve as citizens. so that other persons who may be thinking of commencing such troubles will, have a second thought. So that is what we'll be doing, and we hope the political parties getting closer to the elections are going to help the police to maintain the fragile peace that we have, because peace is what that we need before, during, and after the election, and we hope to do so.
All right, many thanks. That's ASP Ebenezer Tete. He's a Northern Regional Police PRO. Well, in spite of all the happenings, the president is confident the 2016 polls will be safe and secure. Speaking at a breakfast meeting with business leaders in Accra Monday, the president stressed that peace and stability are very important for investment and growth of businesses, hence the need to safeguard them.
One of the things that has made Ghana an attractive place for doing business is our stability and our democracy and the respect for rule of law. And it's something that we will continue to work at. Often when we're getting to an election, the political rhetoric ratchets up. I urge you not to be afraid or frightened that it is going to lead to any blow-up. I mean, Ghana, has a history of peaceful, transparent, and successful elections. And I believe that the 7th election under the 4th Republic is going to be no different. I'll play my part as President and Commander-in-Chief to ensure that we have a stable, secure environment for people to cast their ballots. And I believe that once the elections are over, the people of Ghana will decide who they want to lead them over the next 4 years, and whoever emerges, all of us must support the person.
From the northern region, let's go to the Ashanti region, where the chairman of the New Patriotic Party there, Bernard Entry Boisiako, refused to accept parliamentary ballots for the region from the Electoral Commission. The ballots for the region arrived in Kumasi last night, but as all representatives of the various parties gathered to view them today, the NPP chairman insisted that the party will not accept the ballots. According to him, the NPP slot does not have the party's logo printed boldly on the ballot like the other parties. Listen to him.
The EC, I want the EC to come and explain to us. The EC, the Charlotte say, on the 6 will be making error or disqualifying. So this EC cannot make this. A friend is saying. So is it
the name of the candidate or the name of the political party?
The party that you be
abbreviated form.
Please, the party that you be party NPP.
National Democratic Congress. Okay, so this one has New Patriotic Party, but it doesn't have the abbreviated form. And the NDC has NDC, but
But the CPP have it called CPP, then they have the Conventions People's Party.
What they are saying is that this one should have the abbreviated form NPP at the top, and NPP at the top, which did not come, and so they see that as a mistake.
Okay. Look at this place too. You see that they also don't have the.
I don't see a mistake.
I'm not talking of the independent. I'm talking of the NDC. I'm also talking of the
NPP in our high. NDC in our high. NPP.
Well, officials of the EC say they would have to refer the matter to their national headquarters to address the party's concerns. Srebo Kweku is the Ashanti Regional Director of the EC.
Communicate to our head office and get back to you. So can we leave it? Because these things, the NPP agent were at the printing house. These things were identified. So we don't know what agreement was. So let's get to Accra. All the agents were there. EC have to take responsibility. We are taking responsibility.
You're watching Election Brief, and the courts have been busy over the last few days, and today was no different. Well, no different because it did not involve the Electoral Commission and political parties. It involved the Commission and private individuals who filed a suit seeking to direct the EC to declare the results of the special voting on the same day it was cast. The 7-member panel unanimously ruled that agreeing to the suit will compromise the secrecy of the special or early voting. The court, also chaired by Justice William Atuguba, said that disclosing the direction of the vote will prejudice the election. And we will get more on this because I've been joined in the studio by my colleague Manasseh Azuriawone, who was in court following the proceedings. Manasseh, hello and welcome.
Thank you very much, Araba.
So, briefly tell us who are the plaintiffs before you proceed to give us the explanations that the court provided for dismissing the suit.
Well, the plaintiffs are three, Dr. Amwakotufuo, one Benjamin Arthur, and Abrefa Damwa. They took the matter to court, wanting to compel the EC to declare the results that day.
All right. So tell us what reasons they were seeking, as we indicated earlier, that the results of the special voting be declared immediately. It was, but that was denied by the judges. So why did they deny them?
Well, what these persons were basically saying was that the Constitution says after the voting, results should be declared there and then, and that the CI, which says that the voting or the results of the special voting should be kept. You know, the special voting will take place on the 1st of December. Now, that should be kept till the 7th. Does not conform to what the Constitution says. But the judges said, looking at the two provisions, the voting on December 1 is not the entire vote, it's just a part of what is to take place on December 7th. So declaring that one alone would be like fractional declaration of the results when the entire process has not been completed.
But they also talked about prejudice.
Yes, we know security services, some members of the Electoral Commission, and a few persons, including journalists, are to vote on this day. And we all want to respect the secrecy of the ballot. So they say if you go ahead to declare, everybody would know that, okay, this is how the security services voted. Another reason also given was that these politicians are going to make political capital of whatever is going to come out of the special voting, and it may end up having an impact or swaying voters on how to cast their ballots on December 7th.
Very well. Thank you very much, Manasseh Azuriawone, there with details from the court. Let's hit the campaign trail now, shall we? With 23 days to go to the polls, the parties are not leaving any stone unturned in their bid to secure the votes of the electorate on election day. We begin with the Progressive People's Party, whose presidential candidate, Dr. Papa Kwesi Indum, is campaigning in the central region where he hails from. The PPP leader slammed the Mahama administration for neglecting the people of the central region. Listen.
Upper West number 1, Upper East number 2, Northern Region number 3, and Waba number 4, 50 Manto. And what can the wrong league table, and yet number 4. Well, league table no do. Now you appear. Oh yeah, Mahena. 50 Manto, yeah, the other academia. And so many other American be a worker the NDC, be a worker the NPP A, Northern one of the one on the kitchen on don't know who, beside that, Abadin wasn't waiting. Like why ya to Abako, ya to Again, ya to Basa, ya to Anan, ya to Asia, Naso, Ihiano, other soul.
Richard Kojonyako is with the PPP leader as convoy. He joins us on the line with the latest on campaigning there. Good afternoon to you, Richard.
Good afternoon, Araba.
Now, did Dr. Indum point to specific issues for which reason he's accusing the governing party of neglecting the central region?
Yes, Araba. I've been talking about the marketing of the farm produce of these farmers. And today he was speaking from the Abra Asebu Kwamankese constituency, where, you know, the people there cultivate a lot of citrus. Now, if you happen to drive past that road, you will see a lot of these oranges that are left rotten by the road. And Dr. Indom says this is unacceptable because these farmers depend on these for their livelihood, to feed their families and the others. And none of the governing parties, like the NPP and the MP and the EC, none of them is doing anything about it. So he is promising that he will give them a factory to solve this problem. Now, we are currently at the University of Cape Coast, where he is scheduled to address the students and lecturers of the Cape Coast University.
All right, thank you for that update. Richard Kojunyako is our Central Regional Correspondent. Let's head to voting school now. In every election, there's a possibility that 2 or 3 or all the candidates would get an equal number of votes. In today's edition of Voting School, Fifi Kumsin explores what the Electoral Commission would do to ensure there's a clear winner. So there you go. I hope that sheds some light on the voting process even as we count down to December 7. Well, that's our show for today. Join us same time tomorrow. The Pulse with Francis Aban comes up next.